This morning, Sony officially announced the launch of their new FE35 f1.8 lens. They start shipping to dealers August 23rd, and a week later, the dealers start shipping to customers, so call that August 30th. But 35 1.8, what's the big deal about that? Well, I think, actually, this just may be a very big deal if the IQ and build quality are as good as I suspect, which, to be clear, Sony asserts are much like that of their FE85 1.8. That's because, 1, with the claims they're making about edge-to-edge sharpness wide open, well-controlled focus breathing, fast and silent internal autofocusing, which I like, weather resistance, and an appearance from the photographs, because that's all that I've seen, suggesting its construction and feel in hand really are more like that of the 85 rather than the unimpressive, to me, your mileage may vary, FE50 1.8. Hey, we really like our 28 F2 and wouldn't mind that level of build and IQ either. 2, a $750 price tag, which, while more FE55 1.8, only a $200 gap between them, than 250 FE 51.8 or 450 FE 28 F2, is more versatile than any of them and less than half the $1,600 price tag of the outstanding Sony Zeiss Distagon 35 1.4. Also, at 280 grams, less than half its weight, at 73 millimeters, 1/3 shorter, yet still offering higher magnification at minimum focusing distance of 0.24x versus 0.19x. And 3, a focal length and maximum aperture that translate into the full frame equivalent field of view and depth of field on an APS-C camera of, call it 50 millimeter f2.8. This particular lens might quickly become the piece of glass most successful as the bridge optic or gateway drug to propel Sony A6 series users into full frame. That is, they can buy it knowing that they can use it right now as a high quality normal standard 50 for the APS-C camera they already have, and then use it as their first, insofar as 35 millimeter is perhaps the most flexible of all full frame focal length primes, wide standard, as long as they want, on any generation they want of Sony's full-frame A7 bodies, new or used. And the piece of glass that gives heartburn to both Nikon, given that they're wonderful 35 1.8 costs more, well, $100 more, weighs more and is significantly larger, and Sigma, given that their excellent native E-mount 35 1.4 Art Prime, though $100 less and half a stop faster, is more than twice the weight, longer, and as an adapted DSLR design, may not autofocus as quickly or control focus breathing as well. To be determined. Is true, Canon's RF 35 1.8 macro is much less expensive at $450 than the new Sony, offers up to 0.5x magnification, and offers the lens image stabilization that the new Sony does not. It will be fascinating to compare these two in terms of image quality and feel in hand. But what's most interesting to me in the announcement is this. By continuing to build out its modestly slower, but otherwise relatively uncompromised for 99% of us, 99% of the time, full-frame prime lens lineup this way, I wonder if Sony is signaling that this is also their APS-C lens strategy. That is to say, rather than commit to building out the kind of duplicative line of high-quality APS-C primes people like me gave up clamoring for a couple of years ago and looked to other brands, at prices that probably wouldn't be appealing to Sony anyway, especially given that the mirrorless market so far this year is already down 22% over the same period last year. Perhaps they believe the path forward that works for company and consumer alike is to offer glass that excites their APS-C owners with great IQ, solid build improvements, and small size. A big deal for non-professional shooters and professional shooters alike, actually, that, while significantly more expensive than their previous E-series crop lenses, are much less expensive and happily smaller than their faster G and G Master Primes, like the $1,500 51.4 or brilliant, just amazing $1,800 85 1.4 G Master. Call lenses like this 35 1.8 on the one hand, high quality, minimally optically compromised glass, worthy of the sensors in and the sizes of the A6000, 6300, 6400, and 6500, to which their owners might be willing to stretch. And on the other hand, optics not so compelling to existing A7 series owners that they would trade down for them. It is an interesting tightrope to walk. It almost feels to me, it just might be the case that Sony's figured they've recouped enough of their investment in full-frame sensors and big, fast, expensive lenses and figured they've successfully and irretrievably reset the industry onto the full-frame mirrorless path, from which their sensor business will prosper irrespective of camera maker, that maybe figured that the industry is now shrinking so much that possibly reckoned that Fuji and APS-C and Panasonic and Micro Four Thirds have come so far that perhaps reasoned that the pace of innovation in the full-frame sensor technology business has slowed to the point that, well, that what we are actually seeing is the first lens in a new only full-frame glass strategy across full-frame and crop sensor bodies. Using all of the manufacturing, operational, financial, and supply chain management skill and experience Sony gained over the 5 years that their biggest competitors did nothing, designed to close the gap in the IQ and build quality, thus incent the higher volume crop sensor market to move upmarket without having to go full-frame body unless they truly want to, and that this one lens is, finally, a portent of a new APS-C sensor in a new, also less compromised, also more expensive camera body coming soon. Yeah, maybe that.